We have breaking news in the NHL. The Chicago Blackhawks are facing yet another lawsuit. Who is suing them? What are the allegations? We'll discuss what we've learned so far coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have some pretty significant news today in the NHL. The Chicago Blackhawks are facing yet another lawsuit. Of course, we know in the past few years there's been a lot of lawsuits facing this team, mostly around the Kyle Beach saga. Another player has come forward as well, alleging abuse took place against him around the same time frame as well. And now they have a whole different situation here as well. But this lawsuit does have allegations that are related to sexual harassment as well as fraud. So the Blackhawks are facing a lawsuit from a former female employee. She is Nina Sanders, who's a Native American woman who worked as a cultural advisor to the Blackhawks from 2020 to 2023, and she's suing the team, like I said, for sexual harassment as well as fraud. This lawsuit was filed just last night, and before taking the job, she had met with Danny Wirtz, of course, the CEO and leader of the Blackhawks, and told him that the logo that they use needed to go, and she felt it was racist. Now, the Blackhawks are one of the few teams that have used a Native American type logo or name for their sports team and have not changed it. We've seen the Washington Football Club, formerly the Washington Redskins, make changes. We've seen the Cleveland Indians make changes. They're now the Cleveland Guardians. The Chicago Blackhawks have not done that. They've, I guess, kind of had their point of view that the name isn't racist, in their opinion, saying that it's honoring Black Hawk, who was a real Native American person and war leader from Illinois. But after discussions with Danny Wirtz and taking the job, Nina Sanders believed that the Blackhawks were going to end up changing the logo. And one of the first initiatives of her job was to help them rebuild the relationships between the team and the Blackhawks tribe, Sac and Fox Nation, which previously strongly opposed the team using the logo. So based on that, she took the job thinking, even though, she felt it was racist, she told them this and believed it was going to be part of her job to kind of help them, mend relationships and make the change. That did not end up happening, of course. So after she felt, I guess you could say she felt used, that she helped use her contacts and arrange meetings between the tribe and Danny Wirtz and the team in 2021. And then the team and the tribe ended up forming a partnership. And suddenly the tribe reversed their stance on the use of the logo and no longer seemed to have an issue with it. Now, also, the team ended up gifting the tribe a $250,000 Black Hawk helicopter as well as a $100,000 grant. So she felt basically used, that she was brought in to kind of help mend these relationships, help change the team, help, progress into a new name and logo. And none of that happened. The relationship was changed, but they kind of figured that out on their own after kind of using her to get things going, so to speak. So in her lawsuit, Nina Sanders alleges breach of oral contract, fraud, and sexual harassment on violation of Gender Violence Act. Now, she says she was sexually harassed in 2022 by a man working for the team. She describes inappropriate advances, touching her without consent, as well as sending her explicit videos via Snapchat. She also claims she reported these incidents to her supervisors, but nothing was done about it. Instead, she feels they tried to silence her and push her out. Now, as far as why her employment ended with the Chicago Blackhawks, there does seem to be some inconsistencies in the reports. I believe that there was one point saying that she wasn't offered a new contract, but the current statements from the team alleges that they were there was an offer to renew the contract, but they were going to be making changes, I believe, to how things were structured for her employment or what she was going to be working on, something of that nature. And she chose not to accept it, according to what the team statement says here. Now, the team says, of course, because they were warned about this lawsuit some time ago, and they've hired outside counsel to complete a thorough investigation, like we saw with the other sexual abuse allegations. Those investigations revealed that they did not come up with any sufficient evidence to substantiate the claims. They also said that the incidents were not disclosed until after her employment was not renewed, and that the persons identified by Sanders in this lawsuit have not, and do not work for the team. So that is their statement on things where it stands here right now. Of course, like I said, this lawsuit is brand new. It was just filed yesterday. Obviously, generally when lawsuits are being filed like that, the team would have had warning. They did. They were told about everything, completed an investigation, and this is what they say so far. So certainly, another negative story about the Chicago Blackhawks and things that are being handled, I guess in the workplace. So we've heard about the Kyle Beach whole incident now. So there was another player that came forth professing the same sort of allegations. And now we have this. And of course, in the court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty. It's just difficult with the history recently in the last number of years with the Chicago Blackhawks to give them the benefit of the doubt because of what's gone on in the past, right? So we'll have to see what happens here. So this is certainly not a good look for the Chicago Blackhawks, obviously. But at the same time, like I said, it's going to have to take its course, go through the courts, and we'll see what comes from this. I know a lot of people are upset that the Blackhawks, for the whole incident involving Kyle Beach, didn't have, stiffer punishment. We saw the Ottawa Senators stripped of a first-round pick for, fumbling no trade data or, complications around a no trade list in a trade, which is minor compared to covering up abuse. And yet the Chicago Blackhawks, yes, there was financial fines imposed by the league, but then look, they got the first overall pick to get Connor Bedard right after, generational type player, phenomenal player, and is going to do great things. And a lot of people are not happy with the fact that they were able to get that. Obviously the league, handles things the way they did, but it's just kind of, not a great look overall when these things continue to pop up, well after the fact. So ultimately, a lot of the people involved in those other situations are no longer with the club. So this is a whole different set of circumstances and different people involved and whatnot. So, like I said, the team right now is saying that they've already had their external counsel do an investigation, and the people she's accusing are not even team employees, and they could not substantiate the claims. So we'll see what evidence or what is presented by her legal team and how things move forward here within the courts. But obviously, another story against the Blackhawks. Like I said, it's just difficult to give them the benefit of the doubt, given all the recent history. But we'll see what comes from this. I will link the news story, which comes from CBS News, down below in the comments. So certainly can read through the full, more detailed allegations and details of the lawsuit and what's being alleged here. But like I said, not good news for Chicago. And at this point, I doubt the league will have anything to say or do about it, because it'll have to wait and see what comes from the courts. But again, if they are found guilty of this, then I would suspect there'll be more punishment coming from the league. But what's it going to be? Because it felt like they got a slap on the wrist for the abuse cover-up previously a few years ago for the whole Kyle Beach situation. So let me know your thoughts on this news story, and we'll talk about it further down in the comments. Of course, I'll be back later with other videos today talking about the rest of the news around the entire NHL. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.